All right, so something I often say when we're playing Magic is that there's no substitute for experience, practice, hard work. Hexdrinker is a card that seems interesting to me. The green-black rock archetype as a whole has definitely felt like it's wanted more threats to me in the past. And I like that Hexdrinker is both a threat that we can play early while disrupting our opponent, but it's also a card that as the game goes long, it gives us something that becomes really scary that we can dump a lot of mana into. So from that perspective, I like it a lot. I've got a couple of Nurturing Peatlands in here with the mana. So we've got a ton of utility lands, this 25 land mana base. We've got 4 creature lands, 2 peatlands, and 3 Field of Runes here. Graveyard decks are kind of rampant and everywhere today. So unlike some of the green-black rock decks I've played in the past, I've got 4 Leyline of the Voids and 2 Surgical Extraction on the board, in addition to my 3 Scavenging Oozes. Just wanna make sure I have proper respect for the graveyard decks that I'm interested in beating. Let's go ahead and dive on into a league here and see how this goes. How many gunshots are we going to play against with the Hexdrinkers? I don't know. Hey, morning, little Bappy. Turn 1 discard spell has been the cornerstone of competitive modern decks for almost as long as the format's existed, basically. Has anyone asked you about the new Leyline in Ascendancy? Which Leyline? The green one? Is the green one the one you're referring to? So I'm not sure why Ascendancy would be interested in playing that card. I don't envision a problem that it solves. This is 3 of the deck, just 3 of each discard spell, 3 Hexdrinker, 3 Collective Brutality, 3 Skews, 3 Liliana. Yeah, MTG bot is incredibly slow to add spoilers. Which is unfortunate. This hand is fine. Hopefully we're playing a matchup where Fatal Push has text. If we're playing a matchup where Fatal Push doesn't have text, we can at least bid it to a Collective Brutality escalate to drain them for 2, which is nice. Time to defend the realm. Thank you for the 12 months, Monster. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Well, all right, let's take a peekaboo. This is a good draw. What are you working with? Do I take Bridge from below, right? That's their most powerful enchantment here. Oh yeah, Bridge costs 3 mana, so they're not gonna play it for 2 more turns. So we'll take the Neonate because they can cast it this turn. Hopefully we'll draw another discard spell to take the Bridge before they can cast it. And if any of you are, there we go, we're getting it. Oh, Magic's a great game. It really is. It's a lot of fun. I'm gonna go ahead and trade off with the Stitcher Supplier. It lets them flip 3 cards into the bin, but it doesn't come back. And killing this will prevent them from getting Gravecrawler back in the long term, which is nice. You're supposed to edge your Kappa. How is I supposed to know you're being sarcastic? Apologies. Whoa! They have. I wonder if they're playing the list we've played on stream. Because they have 2 Overgrown Tombs. I feel like 2 Overgrown Tombs is likely indicative if they watch the stream. So, without another green source, I think I'd rather just double up on Tarmogoyf here. Yeah, they get to cast Vengevine. Fantastic. So, if they attack like this, I would definitely just go block, block, Fatal Push. Green source, green source. Untapped green source. Alright, I guess we just cast Scooze then, right? Gobble this up now. Play this. I think I'm just sitting tight. We're in a pretty good spot here, right? Yeah, if we can fade them drawing Altar, I think we're pretty much a lock this game. Sweet. Stealing game 1 here should make us an incredible favorite to win the set. Is this a Languish matchup? How do we feel? I think this is a Languish matchup, right? Fatal Push is kind of whatever. How do you feel about swapping 2 of these for 2 Languish? Pulse kills Hagak. Hexdrinker is kind of mediocre here. Being able to kill Altar is a good call. I think some pushes are fine. Being able to push our own creature in order to exile their bridges is not an irrelevant line. The question is cutting the Hexdrinkers going too low on threat density? That might be the case. It might just be that I want Hexdrinkers as an early thing to trade off. Maybe we do this. Let's try this. Nah, I think Damping Sphere is too narrow. Keep. And you get a sideboard card, and you get a sideboard card, and you get a sideboard card. Everybody gets a sideboard card. My opponent's mulligan to 4. We're about to have a particularly competitive game of Magic the Gathering here. But I didn't even get to show them how many sideboard cards I drew. This is nonsense. This is completely unfair and unreasonable. This is why did I even put these cards in my board? Why did I even register Leyline of the Void? I don't get it, chat. I don't get it. How are we doing? Puppet of Chaos, thank you for the brand new Prime support. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. I would just like to say good morning, good afternoon, and good night to everybody wherever in the world. Thanks for dropping in here today. If you're a new viewer, my name is Jeff Hoagland. I'm a full-time streamer and content producer here on Twitch. I'm here to play Magic 30, 40, sometimes even 50 hours a week. If you're someone who enjoys constructed Magic, that's definitely the channel for you. We play some Modern and Legacy every morning here on Magic Online. We also play some Standard every afternoon. As always, love to give a shout out to my wonderful subs. I wouldn't be here day in and day out without their support. Thank you, Puppet of Chaos. I appreciate it. Welcome, and thanks for keeping me around. I'd also like to take a quick second to plug a couple of my sponsors here really quick. The Nerd Rage Gaming Championship Series, a $5,000 cash tournament series that happens every single month in the Midwestern United States. Their event next month in July will be Modern, like this format we're playing now. If you can't make it out to the Midwest to play in one of their tournaments, be sure to check out their streaming coverage as well at twitch.tv/NRG Series. Welcome back, Z Mystic. I appreciate it. BCW Supplies would love to help you protect your very valuable paper Magic the Gathering cards. And using code Jeff10, you can save 10% on their already fantastic prices on sleeves, binders, deck box, and all sorts of other fantastic gaming accessories there with them. Cardsphere.com is a peer-to-peer trading network that would love to help you turn your cards into other cards or to other players. They also have a completely free-to-use draft simulator on their website that they would love for you to check out. Welcome back, Garrick, Predator of Scrubs, and Psychonaut. I appreciate the continued support, folks. Happy Thursday. Of course, I'd also like to welcome everyone out there to Hoaglandia. I know there's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch right now. Thanks for dropping by my little slice of the internet here today. Kozilek, thank you for the biddies. And there's other biddies in there that I missed. They cheered for the second time today. Oh no. Oh no, where's my dashboard? Sufa, thank you for the 100 bits again. Yeah, that sounds fine. Discard spell, removal spell, Liliana. Foreboding Runes, reveal Blood Crypt, okay. Show me what you're working with. Goblins. Is there a creature or planeswalker, equal number of goblins you control? Huh. I think I'm going to take Munitions Expert. And then probably Collective Brutality, the Bolt next turn. Hey, last chance. Thanks for the 8 months. I appreciate it. Ready for the opponent here? I can't blame you too much. If Burgle's out there watching, I'm sure he's got a big... Burgle tried to talk me out of playing Liliana the Veil. But the last time I cut Liliana the Veil from this archetype, I was immediately punished, so I elected not to cut that card. But if this was Liliana the Last Hope, we'd be in a much better spot right now. I was just letting the internet know how incredibly right you are. Are you still playing with viewer decks? Yeah, pretty much everything we play here is powered by viewer submitted deck lists. I think I'm going to bin the trophy. And then hopefully my opponent's gonna sacrifice this, make a token, play Siege Gang Lieutenant, and then we'll untap and pulse their tokens. Paying 2 for this is not a good scene for us. I bet we're going to see Goblin Grenade throw this at Liliana. Oh, this doesn't have a mana cost activation. Oh, I didn't realize that. Yeah, you're right. The Maelstrom Pulse line is bad. Should actually read the cards. Reading the card explains the card. Create 2, sacrifice a thing. I mean, my 3/2 is pretty good here, huh? No, I wanted to get my Shockland into play tapped here. So that way I can fetch a basic with this next turn and take less damage. Because my opponent's deck is incredibly aggressive. So I'd prefer to hedge taking less points of damage overall. And then, unless I draw another removal spell like a Fatal Push here, I think I'm just Maelstrom Pulsing this. And then, sweet. Scavenging Ooze helps me stabilize hard here. Because there's 1, 2, 3 creatures in their graveyard. And if this dies, that's a 4th. So Scooz is going to buffer my life total a lot. Yeah, Scooz was an incredible draw here. Southern Man Gaming, thanks for the 4 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Yeah, green-black plays a lot of long games of Modern. Gobble, gobble. Opponent understand what's going on and has conceded to Scavenging Ooze. Dear Liliana of the Veil, please get out of my deck. Last Taupe, Languish, Abrupt Decay. Thoughtseize is not particularly good here. Because I have so much graveyard hate in my sideboard, I'm a little bit light on cards for a matchup like this. Like, ideally, I don't love Thoughtseize being in my deck post board, but I think it's better than the rest of these cards. Like, I think Thoughtseize is still better than Duress. Now, I think I'd rather have Thoughtseize than something like Nissa. She's just so expensive. Bad drawn, thanks for the 4 months. I might put Liliana the Veil in on the play, but I think on the draw, I just want a max amount of mana efficient cards. Why Languish over Damnation in Modern? Because Languish frequently will not kill my creatures. So Tarmogoyf is often a 4/5. Tireless Tracker and Scavenging Ooze can both get above 4 toughness. So, effectively, the Languish is a one-sided sweeper a lot of the time. Haven't really played a matchup where Hexdrinker is good yet. So we'll see. Right on time, Fatal Push. Alright, so what do I want to do here? How do we feel about Collective Brutality, kill your Skirt Prospector, discard my Tireless Tracker? That might be bad. I can also just play the Scavenging Ooze out. The Ooze probably dies to a removal spell. It might just be right to Fatal Push this turn. No, Damping Sphere is bad. Don't bring in Damping Sphere unless it completely stops your opponent from winning the game. Or they're playing Tron. Don't bring in Damping Sphere against decks that are just playing like 2 or 3 spells at a turn. Brutality or Fatal Push. Brutality or Fatal Push. Brutality or Fatal Push. I don't really have anything I love discarding to this Brutality is the issue. Yeah, it could just be Trophy. Yeah, I don't hate that. I don't hate that. We're pretty far off of casting the Trophy. I'm not going to use the mode to try and take a spell out of their hand because, 1, I don't have anything else I really want to discard. And 2, if they have, like, just a bolt, I don't want them to, like, bolt me in response. Yeah, gaining life is great. Liliana the Last Hope is gonna take over this game most likely for us. I guess they could have a Goblin. I guess if they have a Bolt, she could die. Maybe I push plus Scavenging Ooze this turn to try and clear the way for Lily. Could also just play Tarmogoyf here. The problem with playing the Goyf is the Goyf dies to Mog Fanatic plus Lightning Bolt currently, which is not ideal. I think I'm just going to play Last Hope. My other threats don't really block nearly as well as... Opponent keeps losing value to auto-passing. My other threats don't really block as well as my Tarmogoyf do. I think this is fine. If I get them to use some burn on the Last Hope, it means my other threats are likely to stick. And my individual creature quality is definitely higher than theirs. So if my threats stick around, they should dominate the board fairly easily. Oh, Rabble Master makes all their things have to attack. That's funny. Also, not playing out a Tarmogoyf means that they have to like wait and like now once I play out guys, are they just not attacking my Last Hope? That's good for me. We gonna grenade the Last Hope? I think we're grenading the Last Hope. Yep. What do we think of Field plus Fatal Push? I think it's Field plus Fatal Push here. They're down to 2 cards. Go ahead and push the Rabble Master off a cliff here. It's lethal. Thank you for the 17-month resub. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Hope you're having a fantastic Thursday. If we hit a 4th land and get to double spell next turn, we should be in a pretty good spot. Details. Not quite the 4th land we were hoping for, but it'll do in a pinch. Better than missing, I suppose. Yep. It's a pretty good drop. I'm going to play Goyf and pass here. Next turn I can play Scavenging Ooze with triple green up. Yup. Worth noting, this Peatland has done so much damage to me this game. I don't think I need to ooze them just yet. So we're going to go ahead and grab Overgrown Tomb here. And I think I'm actually cycling the Peatland because I want my ooze activations to actually gain me life. So now we get to go ahead and drop this and like go ham. And with this draw, it means it doesn't even die to Goblin Grenade. Even if they have another bouncier thing guy, that's fine, because I still have two giant monsters, not just one. So we're back up to 12 here. We've got two giant blockers, and then we've stabilized the board now, and then we're going to get to pivot to closing very quickly as well, because our creatures are huge. I suppose they have another munitions expert. Okay. Yep, War Marshal and Munitions Expert could pull them back into this. That's very good. If we draw bricks here, we could be in trouble. Languish would be absurd. Tireless Tracker is also okay. Liliana the Last Hope is fine. I expect we'll see them attack next turn, because right now they're like trading Legion Loyalists for 2 points of damage, which doesn't seem very good. Expert is genuinely powerful. Disagree. It's a mediocre payoff for putting a bunch of 1/1s in your deck. It was fine here, but calling it genuinely powerful is more than a stretch. Yeah, it was definitely good there, but good there and genuinely powerful are functionally different things. One, two, three, four, five, six. I guess I'm trophying one of these to only take 5. Yeah, they do have Goblin Grenade. Yeah, Mana War has been very good for them. I think I'm actually just gonna go ahead and trophy another one here. Mageologist, thank you for the 8-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Yeah, it's worse than Gem Palm Incinerator a lot of the time. We're going to hold this fetch land in our hand because we have a bunch of Tireless Trackers in our deck. So they can hit me for 3 more here, down to 5. So I am dead to Goblin Grenade here. Scavenging Ooze the second, also an excellent draw. Languish is a good draw. So dead to Grenade. Collective Brutality is a fine draw, gets us out of grenade range. They drew Goblin Grenade, sure. Oh, magic. Those are some good runners. I get to play the next game on the play. Thanks for the 6 months, Cruz. I appreciate it. We weren't going to stabilize anytime soon. Yeah, I think I'm mad with our sideboarded. Hopefully they'll draw slightly less good this game, and we won't both stumble and Like, honestly, and this is something to think about, we've lost that game because of Nurturing Peatland, right? Like, our Nurturing Peatland did at least 3 damage to us that game, if I recall correctly. And these are the types of games where decks like my opponent are going to be much worse post-London Mulligan, because I have to sit here and keep a speculative hand, and there's a good chance I lose this game to just not getting to play Magic. And high variance decks like my opponent that have low card quality, that are mostly winning games because people get unlucky, are going to happen less frequently in a world where people get to make better mulliganing decisions. Well, Scrylands are already legal in Modern. They're just not good enough for the most part. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why I'm only playing 2 of them, right? This is where the magic happens. And one of the reasons why I would never play a deck like Green Black Rock at a Paper Magic tournament is, 1, playing Fair Magic in Modern is stupid, and 2, in addition to games like this where you're just gonna lose because you're unlucky, these decks don't get free wins on the backswing. How long till Arena? 3 more matches after this at most. So probably about an hour. We're gonna be starting Arena between 10:30 and 11 until the new set drops. We're gonna do Arena from like 11 to 2 or 3. Yeah, I think we're dead here at this point. We bricked off for long enough, and they have a Bushwhacker. Their last 2 cards are Bolt Munitions Expert. A lot of games of Magic where Magic sucks, which honestly, that, like, playing the paper tournament last weekend, like, games like this, you get to shake it off and, like, play another match online. When you have a match like this in a paper tournament, it's so rancid. You just, like, you're like, all right, well, we didn't actually play a game, and now I have to sit here for 40 minutes while we wait for the next round to pop. The Sunday event last weekend, I spent more time resolving mulligans than actually playing cards. I'm glad I had my tablet to watch Netflix on and my phone to play Pokemon Go. Which, it's funny, we're gonna play some Underlords later today. One of the things that's refreshing about playing games like that on occasion is that they don't have those variance moments where you literally just don't get to play. Like, the game has variance elements to it. So, like, there is variety in the gameplay, but there aren't games where you're like, oh, I'm just dead. Okay, so the opponent is playing... This is another reason why I hate playing fair decks in Modern. So my opponent's playing what looks to be the Goldfish deck list that got tweeted out this morning. And I looked at this deck list and I was like, oh, this deck never beats an unfair deck in a million years. So, like, by playing unfair decks, you get to beat people who just don't have any respect for what's actually good in the format. Whereas when you're playing a fair deck like what we're playing here, we have to sit here and struggle against decks like this because we're not doing one of the busted things. There's a lot of downside to playing decks like this without a lot of upside. Need you another remand, gross. What deck is the opponent playing? They're playing a deck based around the 2-mana Snow enchantment from Commander Masters, Commander Horizons. Land? Right. Now they do have the card that gives everything -X/-6 equal number of snow permanents they control, so they could kill my Tireless Tracker here, but it kills their Boreal Druid too, so that seems like a fine trade for me. Oh. Non-snow creatures, sure. You keep your Boreal Druid, deal. That's neat. Nifty. Which, again, this card's not very good against a lot of Modern, but we've elected to play a fair deck, so we don't get to gain that benefit. Careful attacking into Kodal. How do I be careful? Can you elaborate on how I do what you're suggesting I do? What does being careful look like? The beginning of your upkeep, if you control 10 or more snow permanents, well, they have 8 and they only have 1 more card in their hand here. So they have to have 10 at the start of their turn. So I got a couple of draws here to find a trophy. I think we're going to die to Merit Liege. It's actually kind of funny. If our opponent was actually playing Dark Depths, we'd have an answer in Field of Ruin. But they're not, so we don't. Ocho to Pierce, thank you for the 9 months. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. So I get to attack them for 14 next turn. Yeah, I have Maelstrom Pulse. I have 1 Maelstrom Pulse and 4 copies of Trophy in my deck that can kill this Merit Liege of Slumber. They're gonna be forced to block here though too, right? So like even if they have more, because like this is gonna hit level 4, this is gonna hit level whatever. And then actually we're gonna go ahead and Fatal Push this, right? Attempt to kill you. No, I don't want to level it up to 5 because I want to either kill them or make them block with a Boreal Druid. Extra Abrupt Decay sounds fine. Last Hope sounds fine. Hey, Ferocious Ferret, thanks for the 5 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Alright, this is the against the odds. This is likely what the opponent's playing. So Duress doesn't seem very good here. I have Inquisitions and Thoughtseize and Collective Brutality, so bringing in Duress as well seems medium. I'm pretty sure that had a Snow Sweeper in the main board. Yeah, there's two Snow Sweepers in the main deck of this deck. Snap, Bolt, Snap. Two of them right there. No, Burgle, I think being able to kill their snow creatures is important. No, they have Boreal Druid and they have Kodal, which are creatures that Collective Brutality kills. Yeah, I really hate the Goldfish visual deck list because it doesn't actually organize the information in a way that's useful. Nissa's a really slow clock. I need 2 cuts here. Liliana the Veil's probably whatever. I guess she technically edicts Merit Lead, so I guess we'll keep her. Trim Skews. It's mostly a Grizzly Bear. I think Hexdrinker's probably a little better. I think I'm going to keep the tracker there. I've got Thoughtseize plus Trophy as interaction to start. So if I just, like, hit a 4th land, tracker gets my card advantage engine going. Merit Lead does not have haste. So they have to have 10 things during their upkeep and then have their token survive a turn. It's incredibly narrow. Take your sweeper. So I think I'm just playing this out, and then next turn I'll level it to 3. And then we'll kind of force them to Dead of Winter this by threatening to get it to 8. And if they don't kill it, we'll just keep pouring our mana into it. Or we can just go ahead and do this. Edict you. They could have Ice Fang here, but I'm okay with that. If they want to trade, that's a good exchange for me, I think. In my experience playing Green-Black Rock Psychonaut, the matchups where a Stony Silence style of effect is good tend to already be good matchups. So I don't think something like Collector Ophi really serves to solve a problem that this archetype has. And I'm going to actually go ahead and just leave Liliana on 1 here because I like both the cards in my hand. I think Tron is an incredibly close matchup for this deck in a post Field of Rune Assassin's Trophy World. Especially with them moving to 4-mana Karn. 4-mana Karn is much easier for this deck to deal with than a lot of the other threats they were previously playing. I also think if I wanted something in my sideboard for Tron, I wouldn't play Collector Ophi, I would play more Damping Sphere. There's also plenty of games where Collector Ophi basically just doesn't have text against Tron. We frequently refer to Stony Silence as a high variance card in those matchups. I'm gonna again just keep leaving this Liliana one, I think. I've only played against Esper Shadow once, and I haven't looked at it laid out, so I'm not really sure what that archetype looks like. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and plus this up, I think. So again, NJ, what you're doing there is something that people incorrectly do a lot of the time. When I talked about Damping Sphere and Trophy making the Tron matchup close, what I didn't say was you play these cards and you automatically beat Tron. As is true with every good deck in Modern, you need a mixture of disruption plus pressure to beat Tron. So the games you lose to Tron frequently involve you drawing too much disruption and not enough actual pressure. The difference being, before Trophy and Field of Rune, you didn't have disruption to draw. You just had to draw mediocre pressure and hope it was good enough. So I am by no means saying the Tron matchup is a bye. In fact, I referred to it as being close because, well, it's just that. It's close. And a $25 donation there. Thank you for the support. I appreciate it. Pull up my dashboard. Monkeys and Dorks. Which one is this for? Did I approve this? Is this one I approved? I feel like I didn't send a yes to this. I'm not sure if that's something I'm gonna play. Frankers, please drop me a private message and we can talk. And if you're... I need to look at it off stream, but that's probably going to be too poor for me to play in Modern. Looks like a lot of clunk in the trunk. Hey, Trax, thanks for the host. I appreciate it. Welcome back. This matchup feels too interactive for Modern. Well, my deck is arguably tier 2 at best. And my opponent's deck is non-existent. Tier Infinity, it's a bad brew. So, like, bad Modern deck versus bad Modern deck is frequently very interactive. Hey, Ed Bingo, thanks for the 1.5 years. So I can kill this on Thin Ice and get my Hexdrinker back, which is sweet. Hey, nice tracks. Congrats. Scrying Sheets seem sweet in their deck. Land is a good draw for us. Generates a clue. Gonna Abrupt Decay this Viper. So it's got Death Touch and it draws a card when it hits us. Discard spells not so great at this point in the game, but that's not a big deal. They've got 0 cards in their hand. Even with Scrying Sheets, we should be in a pretty good spot here. They're going to 5 on this attack. We have a trophy, so if they draw something like Kodal next turn, we're going to be okay. They need, like, an actual removal spell here. Yeah, if I kill the land, it comes back. Okay. That buys them the Abominable Tree Folk, buys them a turn. So I'm going to go ahead and field their scrying sheets here so they can stop drawing cards with that. Also gives us another clue. We are no longer clueless. Now I'm going to trophy their 9/9. So I don't die to that. And then we're going to fire up the Treetop Village here and attack them down to 2. And then next turn, I'm attacking with 3 lethal attackers. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It's just elementary. What could it be? Quezcodal, thank you for the very generous tier 2 resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. What are the bad matchups for this deck? This deck's really bad against blue-white control. So, you're dead on board, and you have no cards in hand? No, Tron's a close matchup for this deck in my experience, especially with the move to... Especially with the move to them playing more 4-mana cards. Also, if you want, like, my sideboard... Oh, wait, does it not? Oh, they diddled it. They're still dead, though, right? The removal spell killed them. They wouldn't have been dead if I didn't draw the removal spell. I don't think so, Burgle. So, like, again, so people talk about, like, what are the bad matchups? Decks like this, the fair deck plan in Modern, you can always pick what you want to beat. So, like, with 4 Leylines and 2 Surgicals in my board, and the main deck Scavenging Oozes, I think this deck is good against... This configuration is good against those graveyard decks. The problem with these fair decks is that you frequently have to give up something. Yeah, Treetop Village tramples, it's great. Dom the bag. Thank you for the 2-month resub. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. So I'm just gonna time you out. I'm just not arguing with people. I'm just not arguing with people. My rule for Modern is that old Jeff, we're gonna play by old Jeff's rules. New Jeff, when we play Standard, is more loving and forgiving. But Modern, I don't know what it is about people that play Modern that are just like, nah, Jeff, you're way wrong. I'm not gonna... Your experience and practice and all the games you play isn't worth anything. What you say is incorrect. It's like, I don't know. I'm just not gonna bicker with you. If you're not... And here's the other thing. If you do want to tell me I'm incorrect, let's have a discussion about it. An appeal to authority, just saying I have practice doing this, like, I'm the only authority here. If you want to dispute my authority, create a logical, structured argument. So, for example, if I show you why, well, a counterpoint to this deck is 50% against blue-white. This deck, game 1, has a number of cards, like Fatal Push, that basically don't have text against blue-white. Past that, the number of card advantage engines that blue-white plays tend to outnumber the number of ways we have to interact with them, and that's even before you factor in the fact that my opponent's going to have counter spells for some of my removal. So my opponent, whereas my card advantage engines are things like Tireless Tracker, or some other people play Dark Confidant, get 1-for-1 very cleanly without ever having generated card advantage. So that's a good example of, instead of just saying, hey, I'm Jeff, I've played thousands of hours of Modern and have played this deck a ton, listen to me and believe me, that's a good example of describing why I feel the blue-white matchup is hard. You also should maybe consider listening to the guy that, like, plays Magic a ton, but I can also have, you know, a reasonable, logical discussion about it. And you notice in that discussion, I didn't just say, I'm Jeff, listen to me. And I could do that, right? Like, I have a ton of experience playing Magic in this deck. But we can also sit down and break down why the thing I'm saying is true in a theory perspective as well. Not quite sure what my opponent's doing. They're probably playing some kind of Urza deck, right? Like, Detention Sphere Mox Opal is a weird combination. And again, I'm not saying it's an impossible matchup. Like, a lot of people are just love to go to extremes. So when I say a matchup is hard, they jump to the, oh, he means it's impossible. And that's really not what I'm saying. When I say it's hard, I mean, if you play it 10 times, you're gonna lose 6 or 7 times most likely. You're not gonna lose 100% of the time. Yeah, it means if a few things break your way, you could have a real shot. They could have a counterspell here. If they don't have a counterspell, we get to eat this, and this will be bigger. Remand. Awkward. Alright, well, I hope I don't get combo. Story of Modern. Hope I don't get combo killed next turn. Maybe playing the Tireless Tracker. Playing the Tireless Tracker is probably greedy. Of course, my opponent's also playing a Bruise, so I don't know that I'm playing around Remand. But they could have had, say, Metallic Rebuke. So yeah, I'm going to say playing the Tireless Tracker was wrong, because they could have had Mana Leak, Metallic Rebuke, or in this case, Remand. And we could lose the game here if their hand is really good. Yeah, Urza plus Thopter Foundry plus Sword of the Meek is infinite. Yeah, if their last card is Sword of the Meek, they combo us here. Not Sword of the Meek, Fist Pump. That being said, we're not really in an amazing spot here. So I'm going to lead on killing this, which means they're probably going to make some Thopters in response here, so they have blockers. I assume we'll see him sacrifice the Mox Opal here as well. Perhaps the Darksteel Citadel also. We could potentially stop the combo with Skoos, yeah. I think I want to just kill Karn the Great Creator here. Karn also currently has a high price tag because, he currently has a high price tag because he's a mythic in a set that just got opened. And like just got printed. And my mistake of playing the tracker there could lose us this game against the opponent who mulliganed to 4. If they hit like a Whir for an Ensnaring Bridge, we could be in trouble. Or if they hit another Karn for Ensnaring Bridge. Yeah, if they find Bridge, I've burned both my trophies now. I bet we're gonna see Bridge slam down. Yep. Oh my god, I forgot to crack my clue. Yikes. Yikes. I was gonna say we get to make clues and maybe draw out of this, but this turns off my clues. Yeah, I think we're gonna lose to a Moldifor. JK. JK, LOL. JK, LOL. Alright, so this is going at them because they have to block. And then I think I send both of these at Karn because I need to take Karn off the table. So they have to block this, and then one of these connects with Karn, and they have a creature in their bin, so the Scooze kills him as well. And then they're gonna lose their Karn Struct here. I do lose my Scooze, but they lose their Karn Struct because this is gonna die, which leaves them with 3 artifacts, so this will have 3 damage on it. Go. And again, if they hit Sword of the Beak here, we're kind of in trouble still. Because I lost my Scooze, but I think I need to trade my Scooze for their Karn there. And they're not quite dead because they have Thopter Foundry. The awesome drop bridge. Bridge would be tough. I mean, the fact that I'm like making a bunch of clues here is nice though too. Yeah, I guess I should have cracked this before damage. Technically speaking. Yeah, Candyman would help us outdraw a bridge. It does not help us outdraw a Karn, though, because the Karn turns off our clues. Oh, yeah, I'm dumb. Should have done that before blocks, I guess. There's been a lot of slops this game on my part. I'd have allowed my opponent to stay in longer than they should have. If I'd have played better. Yep. Oh, they have a chalice anyways. Wasn't a slop. They have a chalice anyways. We cool. We cool. It's Quagmire, Quagmire. Do 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 do. The draw of Collective Brutality here might mean I don't even need to fire up the Quagmire. Smush. And if they sack the Chalice before blocks, I get to Fatal Push. And they can sacrifice the Thopter Foundry to, like, not die this turn, but, like, they're not winning that game. So, like, they're, like, not dead to this attack, but they can no longer win the game. Getting the Thopter Foundry off the table means they no longer have draws to claw back in. Leave up my 1 green so I can access the graveyard. Sit down for a bit. Yep, they need another bridge here. And even if they have a second bridge in their board, they notably don't have enough mana to Karn, downtick, and play bridge. My cards are randomly missing artwork because Moto is a very poor piece of software. Collective Brutality seems bad here. Decay and Duress seem good. I guess this is a graveyard hate matchup, huh? Do I want to leave some fatal pushes in? Or do I cut some more for these surgical extractions? Eating Thopter token seems medium. Maybe I want surgical. Maybe. That might be too much graveyard hate for what they have going on. Fatal push isn't that impressive either, though. Yeah, I do have trophies. I don't know, like, you ideally want to be saving trophy to deal with things like bridges, though. No, Collective Brutality is just much worse than my 1-mana discard, because Collective Brutality doesn't take their artifacts or planeswalkers. Moto is aged like cheese. Moto is like cheese you bought at the store, and then you get home and you realize it was expired when you bought it. It was never not expired. Right on time. Leyline of the Void. How do we feel about Peatland on 1, Thoughtseize, tapped Quagmire on 2, Hexdrinker? I think I like that. It's a little painful, but my opponent's not really pressuring my health total, which is nice. I'm gonna take Karn. I think that's fine. I have Abrupt Decay for the Chalice. So I can, if they go like Chalice for 1, I can go like Scavenging Ooze on 2 and then tap land Abrupt Decay on 3. I agree with you, Psychonaut, that the matchup against blue-white is better if you have some Dark Confidants. If you have Dark Confidant and Tireless Tracker, I guess I should say. But in my experience, even with that card, the matchup is still not favorable. And again, I'm not saying it's unwinnable. I'm just saying on average, I'd expect to lose more than I win. You want me to save Decay for Bridge? Do I need to do that? Like, I guess, are you saying it's just not important to... Decaying this increases my clock, though, too, because it adds artifact and instant to the bin. I think I'd rather just kill them. Taking an artifact off the table makes their Mox Opal worse as well. So, like, I'm adding 2 points of power to the board with this play. And I'm shutting off making their Mox Opal harder to turn on. It's like, I agree it'll suck if they draw a bridge, but I think that's fine. So I know they have a Remand in their hand, so I think I'm going to lead on Hexdrinker here. And then if this resolves, I'm just going to level it up. So this makes their counter magic really awkward, because, like, remanding a 1-drop is not great, but if they don't remand this, they're not going to get to remand anything this turn, so they're, like, pretty committed to remanding the 1-drop. They play the Bridge, you'll top deck trophy. I am incredibly lucky. You're not wrong. 10 out of 10 would recommend being lucky. Are they dead next turn? This is 5, 9, 11, because I get to level this up 3 times. Having an extra really efficient threat in this deck is kind of sweet. Yep, just dead. This match 4? I think that was match 4. Are we 3-1 or are we 2-1? When we play multiple modern leagues, the matches start to blur. All right, we're 3-1. All right, one more match of modern, then we'll be rolling on to some standard. Yeah, Hexdrinker feels like a reasonable inclusion in this deck. And again, like, I feel like when you add a new card to an established deck like this, people are like, oh man, is the deck busted now? Did you break it? And it's like, it's not busted. It's just like a card that like does something that we're interested in doing and is like an okay power level, right? Hey, Italian Gaming, thanks for the half year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. We went 4-1 in the Mill League. If you're someone who likes the idea of playing Mill in Modern, you definitely want to watch the Blue Black League from this morning if you missed it. Had some good, unique games of Magic. Getting sweet. All right, the Tron matchup. Let's do it. Did your opponent overboard there? I don't know, because I don't know exactly what their deck looks like. Hey, morning, Full Metal. Sylvan Scrying or Ancient Stirrings, friendo? Turn one Jackal Pup is like fine in the Tron matchup. Do they have a Walking Ballista? Turn one Jackal Pup less fine. No, not my Jackal Pup. Aww. Poor Jackal Pup. Alright, so they didn't search for the tower. So I'm going to risk it, and if we get Karn next turn, we'll just concede. Sweet. God bless opponents who are incredibly unlucky. If you're going to play the Tron deck, I would recommend being luckier than my opponent. I lied. They're plenty lucky. So I'm fatal pushing like this. So this is unfortunate. I didn't want them to kill my Scavenging Ooze because now I feel like I want to save it. But like, I can't reasonably save this, right? Because I need to take them off of Tron this turn. And the problem here is, because my opponent has Walking Ballista, because my opponent had their Walking Ballistas, they were able to have disruption for my early pressure. So like, I was able to disrupt them off of Tron, but I haven't been pressuring their life total while doing so. So their deck full of cantrips and tutor effects is likely going to reassemble Tron here. Okay, sweet. That's good for us. I love how we just keep printing busted things like Walking Ballista-esque. Okay. Okay, and again, they didn't have Tron this turn. They could have Tron next turn, but I'm going to gamble because getting pressure into play here is really important. So if I trophy them, I guarantee they don't have Tron next turn, but guaranteeing they don't have Tron isn't meaningful while I'm not applying pressure. So I'm taking a probabilistic play here that's not guaranteed to win, but I think gives me the best chance to do so. Isha, thanks for checking out the Harry sponsor. I appreciate that. I had mentioned in the subs Discord, I guess I should plug it here too. The Harry's Razors and Quip Toothbrushes were sponsors that I've had open codes for a while. bit.ly/HugelShave and bit.ly/HugelQuip, I think. And those codes will no longer be valid through the after the end of the month. So if you are interested in a reasonable, affordable electric toothbrush or getting some Harry's Razors products and supporting my content at the same time, use those codes before the end of the month. And if you use the Quip, you can bump a deck in the queue as a thank you for doing that. Similar to the Felix Gray sponsorship. Karn, sure. Crucible Worlds, yep. Alright, need a discard spell. Not that discard spell. Need an Inquisition or a Thoughtseize. Thanks, deck. Oh, I can't do this either yet. Yikes. Oh, I can just kill card though, right? Needed to be more specific, exactly. Probably dead. Gave it the old college try here. I guess that's true. If they don't have a real payoff, we could be okay. Ugin. I honestly appreciate it when Moto wraps up with a league like this. Cause like when we're 3-1 with this deck, I really love Green-Black Rock as an archetype. But like playing this deck against decks like Tron, just like even if it's close, the games just feel miserable, and it's just like, yep, I definitely never want to do this again. Never have a desire to willingly engage in what is currently occurring on my screen again. It's a lot like playing against Nexus of Fate. Even when your matchup is fine, you just feel bad playing against it. So, notably, we bring in Surgical Extraction in this matchup, because if we trophy or Field of Ruin one of their Tron lands, we can Surgical all the copies of those Tron lands out of their deck. Thanks for the 5 months, Nathan. I appreciate that. Welcome back. That's the sound of inevitability. How come you aren't playing Ophi on the board? Because every time you register a fair deck in Modern, you choose what decks you want to hedge and what decks you want to beat. And in this particular case, I've put a bunch of Graveyard Hate in my sideboard to respect the Graveyard decks. So if you, instead of respecting Graveyard decks, would like to cut your Leylines and play things like Damping Sphere or Collector Ophi or more ways to hit on artifacts, more power to you. And that's just like the long and short of why playing fair in Modern kind of sucks. You register your deck and you hope you pair into the decks that you registered cards to beat. This hand needs a third land real bad, but if it finds one, it's fine. 2 trophies, clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose. We're on the play with double trophy. Perfect, Isha. Yeah, I actually agree with you, Sinister Simic. In my personal preference, that's definitely something that's subjective. I find stabilizing against aggro decks and playing that game with like a mid-ranger control deck against aggro where you're like making small edges and trying to stabilize, I find that type of magic incredibly satisfying, and I don't really enjoy the types of games that like Nexus generate and Tron. Nissa is a card that's good against other mid-range and control decks. So if you're not expecting to play against other fair decks in Modern, you can cut her. Relic of Progenitus does stop Surgical from getting rid of their Tron. Won't be able to watch my blue-black control deck. I'll catch the replay later. The meta seems to adjusted slightly since I submitted it. Felt really bad the last 2 days. Would love your feedback and suggestions. Definitely Ryzen. And we'll be playing it on the ladder, so I'll be able to make adjustments while we're playing it. I'm gonna go ahead and play Tireless Tracker here just to be mana efficient. Obviously, I can't make a clue this turn, but like, if I draw a 4th land next turn, I can like, play land, make a clue, trophy something, play Scooze or crack clue. Yeah, definitely Korluski. Okay, well, there's a surgical. So if they activate this relic at end of turn, no, I can't get them, right? That's not how that works. Do I just play the Scavenging Ooze? I think I just play the Scavenging Ooze. They guaranteed don't have Tron next, so I just want to keep adding pressure. Pulsing the relic seems rancid. Oh, I guess if they activate map and activate relic, I could get them. No, that's not true because the trophy gives them an untapped land. The trophy gives them an untapped land, chat. My hand is kind of okay against this card. I bet they'll take Liliana here. So lets them take a card out of my hand, and then when it dies, I draw a card. So they're gonna have a window. Oh, they're taking trophies, so I can't disrupt them. That makes sense. I have 2 ways to kill this. So they're taking the way that interacts with their land. I can't surgical their Tron piece. They exiled it with Relic. So Relic, in addition to making my Tarmogoyf worse, protects their Tron pieces in their graveyard from surgical extraction. So, okay, that's a good draw. If they miss on Tron or payoff this turn, I get to Damping Sphere them and maybe have a chance to run them down with these creatures. Ugin. We might be able to beat a card. And this is why it's so comparable to Nexus of Fate, because like you're basically just it's comparable to Nexus of Fate, not in that it takes a long time to kill you, but you're basically just sitting there with your butt cheeks clenched when you're playing against Tron, just like really hope they don't rip the Tron piece and have a payoff. If they don't rip the Tron piece and have a payoff, you kill them and it's uninteresting. And if they do rip the Tron piece and have a payoff, they kill you and it's uninteresting. So it's like, we lost the Modern Gamble. We played against one graveyard deck in 5 matches when I put a bunch of graveyard hate in my sideboard, and we actually beat the graveyard deck without drawing any of our sideboard cards because we beat them game 1, and then they mulliganed out of game 2, and then we queued into Tron after I cut a Damping Sphere from my sideboard and other cards that are good against Tron for graveyard hate, and then we died to Tron because we had less hate cards for them. And that's just the story of playing a fair deck in Modern. Every time you register a deck like this, you look at your sideboard and you go, this week I'm beating graveyard decks or artifact decks or Tron decks. And like usually you can pick like 2 of the 4 major types of decks to beat, and you just hope you don't play against the other ones, or if you do, you get incredibly lucky. Takeaway on the new card. I don't know how I feel about Nurturing Peatland. We definitely lost to the Goblins deck because of Nurturing Peatland, so I'm not 100% sold on that. It might be worth going down to just 1, because drawing 2 would really suck. I think I was happy with Hexdrinker. This is a card I would definitely need to play more with, but having another efficient threat feels really good. Like, being able to, like, go 1 mana disruption, second 1 mana disruption, Hexdrinker on 2 feels really reasonable in a lot of spots. It's also very good against counter magic because it's a cheap threat, so it allows you to double threat early in matches where your opponent could have something like Remand or Mana Leak or Logic Knot, for example. At any rate, that's it for the Modern portion. Now let's jump on into some standard